Okay, welcome to the final match of season 6. Uh, it's a low pressure match since both me and my opponent have reached Kyber, so the stakes are pretty low, but I would still like to win. So my opponent is EASP McLovin, obviously a fan of the movie Superbad from the looks of it. EASP, I believe, is a guild which is based out of China, and my opponent has got a decent roster, pretty good record as well. If you look at his offensive victories, he's got about 200 and 596, which is a little more than the offensive record that I have, and his defensive holds are pretty decent, 240. And if you divide the defensive holds by the offensive battles won, that's about 40%. Anything above 40 to 50% is really, really tough defense. 10 to 20%, I would say, is where you know that your opponent has sets really easy defenses. So if for example, over here the offensive record was 600 and your opponent has got 60 to 120 defense, then that's about 10 to 20%. That means that typically the defense will be very weak. But in this case, it's close to 40%. So that's where I think 240 by 600. That's about 40%. So that's where I think the defense is extremely heavy. And looking at my opponent's history, that's what I've seen as well on defense. They've said their Padme, they've said their Darth Revan, they've said their Grievous, they've said Jedi Knight Revan as well. So we'll have to see what they have in store for us today. Let's go ahead and see what defenses I've set. It's been about we've got about 15 hours left for the attack phase. None of us have attacked yet. This time I decided to go ahead and attack a little early because I think I gave a few people an anxiety attack last time when I attacked with 20 minutes to spare in the attack phase. So I thought I'll just go ahead and attack early enough, put some points on the board, put some pressure on my opponent. So I've reverted back to the usual defense that I have, which is keeping two tough teams at the top, Gas and DR, to block the ship zone. I've kept my own Django team over here. I wanted to keep Nest, but Nest I decided to keep with Kira at the back, since my opponent typically goes off defense heavy and they might not have enough for the Kira at the back. And then over here I split out my Grievous squad between Grievous and Newt. I've kept Magna Guard and Droidica under Newt, and I've kept Geonosian Brood Alpha along with Poggle under General Grievous. Typically, my opponent has always used Nightsisters to take out Grievous, which is why I did this. But now he's kept Nightsisters on defense, which means he'll probably take his JKR against my Grievous. So that this defensive ploy of mine might not prove to be effective. At the back, though, I've kept a couple of tough teams. I've kept my Kira with Nest, as I mentioned, with the L3 as a pre-taunter and another taunter in Zalbar. And I have my Basti team. I've kept this on defense. I think probably for the first time. I don't think I've ever kept Basti on defense yet because I've always used Basti to take out General Grievous. But I decided to keep Basti over here with the Shakti, another great character relic character who can recover protection, call people to assist, dispel debuffs. Wampa is in there as well, who's always great under Basti. And Wampa has got three different characters who can call assists. You've got Ezra, you've got Basti, and you've got Shakti. Now, AI, it's very iffy who they call to assist. They might not call Wampa all the time, but it's just there for Wampa is just there for nuisance factor. I've got a tank in there so that Old Ben will taunt as soon as the match starts under Basti lead. Ezra is also great, another attacker in addition to Wampa. So just because of the fact that they'll have so much tons of bonus protection, it's going to be difficult to take that team out, especially if you've exhausted some good teams, taking out some of these teams over here, some of these meta teams. And at the back over here, I've kept my Negotiator, my Malevolence on defense and Negotiator on offense. My opponent has got Malevolence as well, and usually keeps his GK on defense. So I figure GK versus GK gives more banner than Malevolence versus Malevolence. So that's what I decided to do over here, just to get a slight banner edge. But I have a feeling, given that my opponent has set tough defense, it's probably going to be a it's not going to be an efficiency game. It's just going to be who can one shot the most and who can clear the board. So over here they've kept a Nightsister squad, which they usually have on offense for my Grievous, but this time they decided to keep it on defense. They have a DR without Basti, and they have a Grievous squad with the T3 in there. And down below they have their Newt with Nest, and then they've got Geos. So let's see what we want to take against these. Now I just have one team which can take out which can take out the DR team, which is going to be my Padme and first order for cleanup in case Malik is left behind. So let's go ahead and take that in, because if I'm not able to clear this with Padme, then I probably won't be able to clear this zone. I might just have to focus on the bottom, but let's see. Because both of us have gone defense heavy, it might just be who clears the most. So the Malik is really fast. So this is one of those teams where the Malik is faster than the Darth Revan. So he's going to go first, put shock on somebody. Just hope he doesn't stun Padme, because that sort of ruins my plan. But let's take this in and see how we're able to do against Darth Revan. So let's see who Malik targets. All right, okay, let's do this. Clear the taunt from here. Let's apply buff immunity if we can. Okay, that's great. Let's target Sith Marauder. I'm going to do an AoE, because Malik is not going to taunt. Let's do this. Get him out. 15 stacks. I think we can get Darth Revan out. There we go. Lost our GK, a tank, but I think we should be able to clear this up if we don't lose anyone else. Let's do this. Let's heal up. Let's do a confuse over here, and let's get some protection up on everyone. Let's land a stun. That's good. Another confuse. Ooh, lost her. Okay, we're going to do a healing immunity, and let's try to finish it off. There we go. So a little messy, but at least we managed to get rid of the team on first attempt, which is what I wanted, which leaves my first order team, which I was saving as a cleanup team over here, to go and take out some other team down south, because I think we're definitely going to be running short of teams over here. All right, now I think I'm going to leave the Grievous squad and Nightsister squad for now, and then go down south and take out some of these teams over here. Let's see, what do I want to do? I think I'm going to take my Nightsisters against the Geo squad. So what my opponent typically does is he keeps his Geos in front of his Padme. I have a feeling that Padme is going to be there at the back. So he typically keeps Geos over here to draw the Padme out, so that the counter to Padme, to draw the Treya out, so that the counter to Padme becomes all the more difficult. So I'm going to save my Padme, my Treya for the back, for a potential Padme, and then go in over here with my Nightsisters to try to take out the Geos. So let's stun over here, dispel this, and I'm gonna save the plague till after this guy has got a chance to go. Okay, let's dispel, let's stun this guy, and now let's pass the plague along so that the healing doesn't happen anymore. Let's keep spreading plague and reducing the health. So both our deaths have been exhausted. Now we will be resurrecting from the grave. So basics whenever we can. Let's remove this. And where is spy? Soldier, spy. Let's do this. There we go. She's resurrected. Now let's just get rid of Brood Alpha. And now it's a pretty straightforward job of cleanup. So let's get rid of Poggle. Let's do this. I think everyone is at full health. So we'll end with the 55 banners over here. Let's stun this guy. Let's do a heal just for good measure. And we have 55 banners. Okay. That's about what you can expect with Nightsisters versus Geos. Now, against this squad over here, I'm wondering if I should save my CLS for the back. I'm definitely going to take my Darth Revan against the Grievous squad. It's without Basti, so that's a little bit dicey. But I can probably take my first order and Watt against the Nightsisters, which means what do I have left over here? Let me think about this. So I think I want to take my resistance against this squad over here. There is a nest over here with high tenacity, but and pretty slow speed. That's going to be a problem. Maybe I should just take in my CLS squad out here. Maybe I'll do that. I think I'll just take my rebels in there. Who else do I want to take in? Let's take in a tank as well. I don't want to take in anyone else since they'll steal guard. So let's just go in with these guys. I think I do have enough offense for the back. Let's get rid of Dooku. Let's land tenacity down on nest. Reduce some turn meter here. Big stun on nest. Try to take Newt down once. Let's get rid of that. Staunt. Okay, right on time. Let's actually get rid of Dooku. Newt. Let's do this. I want to wait for Nest to come out of there she is. Okay, so Nest is out. So this is great. Big hit and we are done. Okay, so this wasn't as bad as I thought, and I think we're going to end with 60 banners. Okay, that's good. Hope that wasn't a mistake. If I have gas at the back, I'm probably screwed because that was my counter to gas. But let's see what they have at the back. I bet there's going to be Padme at the back and probably First Order if I've read my opponent's Galactic War, the GAC history correctly. And there we go. We've got Padme team and we've got First Order. And we've got Grievous over here and this one. Okay, so Padme is the toughest team. So let's go in with our counter to that. I don't think it's very fast. 254. 205. They do have Shakti in here who's going to dispel on basic. Who should I take in? I probably will go in with this squad, but instead of this, I'm going to take in my... Who should I take in? I think I'm going to go with the Sith. I'm going to go with Basti for the extra fear and shock. And what else do I have? All right. Okay, yeah, I think I'll use Basti over here. Um, yep, isolate Padme, fracture GK, and then control the rest. Okay, let's see how this goes. So let's pass this back to Treya. Isolate on Padme, reduce the cooldown on Nihilus, and then fracture. Or should I fracture Anakin? Because he's going to hit hard. We can always shock GK. Let's put a fear on GK. Okay, let's just do this. Get rid of all those debuffs so that we can drain force everyone. Let's keep working on GK. Shock. Okay, excellent. Now he's going to lose a taunt. Let's get some protection back. And he has shock, so he's not going to bother us with that anymore. Let's we're going to annihilate Anakin, so let's just keep working on Ashoka. Let's do this. Okay, so we have reduced cooldown, which is why he didn't do his AoE, and now we've got ability block on him as well, which is good. Let's just do a daze over here so she doesn't assist anymore. Ability block over here. Now Nihilus is shocked, but I think we can pass the turn meter back to him, see if he's ready for Annihilate. There he goes. Okay, so Annihilate is done. Now all we need to do is try to recover some protection on whoever is closest. Let's fracture GK. I think Treya or Basti might be closest, but I think Basti recovers protection on her own. So we'll just do that for Treya. All right, what do you know? Our Ahsoka, she was killed, so we don't have to bother about her. Let's just finish off GK. And when we get a chance, we will top up Treya, and then we should be good for 59 banners, I think. So let's do this. Okay. Yep. We don't really need to worry about that. Let's fracture her so that we can recover some more protection. Let's reduce the cooldown on Thrawn so that his ability comes around again. Oh, we weren't able to recover. That's fine. 58 banners. All right, so that team was taken care of. Now I think I'm going to use resistance against the team down below, but let's take care of Grievous first, because I don't want to be stuck behind Grievous, and we don't have a really strong Grievous squad. We don't have many Jedi left. We have Varys, which is not really ideal. But yeah, I don't think we have any other options to clean that up. So let's just go with that. Let's go with our Jedi Knight Revan squad against Grievous with Basti, with a Varys instead of Basti, and see if this one is able to do anything. Let's pass this back to Yoda. Order of operations is the same. We just have to trigger B2. And once he's out, then we target him with Yoda and get him out. There we go. And now Grievous goes. Let's do a basic over here. Let's actually get rid of him because he amplifies Grievous's damage. So Basti is gone. Oh, Barris is gone. Why do I keep calling her Basti? Let's just do a heal. Do this. And spread it around. Let's just call this guy to assist. And call him to assist again. We'll have to. I think we'll have no choice but to let Grievous go. He might take out someone else, but we will be able to get them back because we have Jolie's revive left. Okay, let's see how many he takes out. It's an R7 Grievous, so it's pretty tanky. Alright, so let's get everyone back. Pass the turn meter to whoever has the maximum turn meter, which is going to be Barris. And then let's do this. And then let's mark Grievous and finish it off. So low damage, but I think it did the job. Let's call Jolie since he's closest to max protection. And let's call Hermit Yoda to top everyone up. 57. Okay, not bad for Barris in there. Substandard Jedi. I think she did add a little bit of survivability, so that ended up being good. But it allowed me to keep my Bastilla on defense, which is definitely a tough, the second best Jedi lead in my opinion, and definitely something tough to chew through. Okay, so we have a first order squad down below, which I think I'm going to use my resistance against that. I'll have to get rid of this guy first, the Sith Trooper. He's only 4 stars, but you don't want to leave him till the end. There's only one tank in here, no other tank apart from crew. So I think we should be able to control this guy with resistance. Let's take in our resistance over here, and we'll take in our best resistance squad, which is going to be these guys, this one, and I want this guy in there. My Ray is very hard hitting, Scavenger Ray, but I like Resistance Trooper just because of that exposed synergy and his ability to dispel debuffs, which is pretty handy. Okay, let's take that in here, and let me hide everyone except for this guy. Ooh, they're going pretty fast. Okay, let's remove that. Let's dispel debuffs and taunt with this guy. Ooh, losing it. We have to get rid of Hux. Let's call in BB-8. So now we have to try to get some expose on the board and get rid of the Sith Trooper. Let's hide everyone except Ray. It's getting quite messy, and we will probably end up losing this round. Let's do this since he's hidden. There we go, got rid of him. Now let's see if we can't recover this. Probably not. Very touch and go. And oh, we still haven't lost our we still haven't lost our BB-8. He's managing to survive in there. Let's do this. We probably will lose this battle. Let's see if we can't land a stun over here. Not yet. Ooh, okay. Barely surviving. Let's call BB-8 and finish off Kylo. Oh, he's going to do retribution. Bad idea. Okay, so we finished off Kylo. Let's hide everyone except Rey. Man, my BB-8 is just hanging in there. This is an extremely inefficient battle. I think those new characters, both Hux and Sith Trooper, they really messed up my plans over here. But it was one shot. Messy battle, but at least it was one shot. Maybe instead of Finn, I should have taken maybe instead of Finn and Resistance Trooper, I should have taken in the two new characters, the Resistance heroes, Finn and Poe. They might have been able to control these guys a little better. But anyway, it was one shot, which is the most important thing. We're not doing that great on banners. Hopefully we can get 60 on this one. And I think as long as we one-shot everything, we should be able to put enough pressure on our opponent. So for this one, Asajj lead, I'm going to go in with my First Order squad. I think that's the best one I have left. But I do have EP as well. But I think I've got, since I've already used up Bastilla, I've got a higher chance of ending with full banners if I go in with this squad. Now, do I want to take in Hux or do I want to take in... Yeah, let's just go in with Hux. Okay, let's pass the taunt to this guy. Let's pass the weapons tech to this guy so that even if Watt dies, we have a weapons tech out. Stun him. Hux was stunned as well, which was unfortunate. Let's get rid of Talzin. We don't want any plague in there. Let's pass some turn meter around. And keep working on them. Couldn't avoid plague. Let's do this. What does this do? Now let's save that for now. Let's pass this back to First Order Officer so that he can do this. And then he can do this. And let's pass the survivability tech to Hux because we need him to hang around a little more. There we go. Talzin is down. Let's do this now. Now let's start working on Asajj since she's relicked up. Stun, excellent. Let's do this. Let's do a basic since we want to recover some health on everyone. Okay, let's get rid of Asajj. Should I leave Daka alive till the end or should I leave Spirit alive till the end? Can't decide. Well, I think Daka is less scary. Let's just start working on Spirit. Okay, let's try to get this guy back. Stun this one. And try to get some health back on everyone. Let's get rid of Spirit and then we can all right, now we can just work on Daka and get full protection back on everyone. We'll have to get rid of zombie twice first, so that zombie doesn't taunt anymore. Let's pass this back to him, and we need to get some protection up. Let's stun Daka. Okay, so zombie has got 2 deaths. Now I think we can go after Daka. And we have to be sure to kill Daka with first order executioner. That's very important. Otherwise, zombie revives are going to kick in. Everyone is at full health and full protection, so we did manage to end up with full 60 banners on this one. Remember not to target Daka with anyone else. So Daka died through dots, which also works for us. We are at full health, full protection, so let's go ahead and finish off zombie, and then we are done. And then we just have to clear the fleet, and then we see where we end up at. Okay, and as expected, my opponent has kept General Kenobi. So we're going to take in our own General Kenobi to for a mirror match, and I hate mirror matches, but let me take this one in there. I hate mirror matches, but there's no choice. I usually climb with Malevolence in my arena. Let's go with this, and I'm not going in undersized since I want to make sure I kill this in one shot. Who do I take in? Oh, I think I have everyone in. Okay, let's just go in with this and see if we can't clean up this fleet. Okay, let's do this. Let's do basic. And let's do this now. There, we managed to get that triggered off so that we can apply our own days over here. Clear that, and let's get some retribution back and apply buff immunity, which didn't land. Now let's call our own 5s, and let's do this. That tank is going to come out. I'm going to go ahead and try to get rid of him first. Okay, so we have no more taunt on anyone. Now I think I'm just going to do a let's do this. Let's get protection on everyone so that we don't lose anyone. And now we can get rid of Annie. Now I think the battle is in control. We still want to be sure that we recover some health and protection, so I'm going to call Plo Koon so that we don't lose anyone. Give the taunt back to this guy, and now we can get rid of the others one by one. After Anakin goes, there's really no damage dealers out there, so shouldn't be an issue getting rid of the rest of these guys. Okay, this should get rid of Houndstooth, and this should get rid of all the rest of them. Okay, let's see how much we end up with. 61. Not the greatest banners, but it was one shot. And I bet with the Malevolence versus Malevolence will give much lesser banners. So we've got 1907, which is not the best score, but we did have a tough defense to face DR, Padme, and that means my opponent does not have his own DR and Padme to face me, to face my defense. They've got their gas, which they'll probably use in a mirror match, which will be low banners. They've got their CLS, but they don't have DR or Padme to take out my own DR, so I'm wondering what they'll take against that. So that's there, and then they'll probably use their own Jedi Knight Revan against my Grievous, and they don't have the Nightsisters on offense as well. So it'll be interesting to see what they take against these squads as well. So I'll give you guys an update shortly after my opponent has had a chance to go, to let you know how they did. And then towards the end, I'll give a little bit of my thoughts on the new Galactic Rey and Kylo, specifically about where I am in terms of farming for them, and what my thoughts are in terms of who I went for first, and all of that stuff. So, but first, let's wait for my opponent to attack. Then I'll give you guys an update on that. Catch you guys shortly. All right, the attack phase is over, and let's see how my opponent has done against my defenses. They did clear me, but struggled a bit on the defense, on their own offense. Did one shot the teams in the front. Both the Grievous squad as well as the Newt squad didn't have any problem for them, including the squads at the top, which is the DR, gas, and the Django. I think they might have used a gas mirror, or they might have used gas against DR, and then maybe a combination of CLS, C3PO, or Old Ben against the gas team, um, and then um, and then something else for the Django squad. But at the back is where they struggled, since they lost by about 60 banners. Back is where they had a couple of battles against both the Kira Nest team as well as the Basti team. So I think they ended up using a lot of their meta counters up front, and the both these teams are extremely survivable and good teams to have at the back. So that was good to see that those teams held out. My Malevolence also had a couple of battles against it. Since my opponent took their own Malevolence against it, I was just hoping for more banner loss, but they actually lost their own Malevolence mirror match battle, which was good to see. I think they cleaned it up a little later with something else. So as you can see over here, my my reinforcements, almost all the reinforcements were called except for one, which I think might be the soldier, but otherwise good outcome. So 1849 to 1907 won this match pretty comfortably. I enjoyed it because it's not often that I get to face tough defense. So it was good to see some tougher teams on defense over here. All right, so now let's take a quick look at my progress in now that we're at the end of season six. Let's take a look at the progress on that I have for Galactic Legends. Now let's take a look. Yep. So I obviously haven't unlocked either Rey or Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, but starting season 7, which is coming up in a week's time, we will start seeing a lot of these characters in Grand Arena, as we have more and more people unlocking them. I'm still about a month away. I'll probably be going for Rey first. But there are a couple of people in my guild who have unlocked Rey, and I think one person who's unlocked Kylo as well. So we're going to be seeing more and more of these in the future. Now, what does this mean for GAC? I'm not going to comment much on TW or LSTB or Arena, since those are not my primary game modes. I really don't enjoy them as much as GAC. Honestly speaking, if it wasn't for GAC, I probably would have stopped playing about a while ago. But in GAC, what's going to be the impact? But the very first thing is, if you're chasing one of these characters, you're going to see an immediate GP bump, quite a lot. Estimates are between 50 to 80k GP bump, which means that you will start, if you're chasing these characters, you will start getting paired up with the other people who are also similarly progressed as you in terms of chasing them, which is why if you want to really be matched up to someone more equally matched to you, delay gearing up the characters as long as possible. So let me show you how I'm approaching it. So I'm going for the Rey character over here, and I'm going for Resistance first. And you can see over here I haven't really geared up many of these characters. And obviously the Resistance heroes, I've got them geared up to G11 because I don't have them at 7-star yet. But all the other characters as well, you'll notice I've gotten a few of them to G13, but I haven't put any relics on them, because relics is what really adds the GP. So I've got them to gear 13, and what I've done is I've already let me show you where I am in terms of gearing. So in terms of hoarding, I've already hoarded all the relic pieces. Let's see, yeah. So I've already hoarded tons of relic pieces, about 1,000 mats each, and for the first two ones, and about 400 for the third one, which is the data signals. So the signals I've hoarded tons. I've even hoarded the electrum conductors, Zinbidle pieces, Aurorian heat sinks, all of that stuff, up to 1,000 of each, which I'm hoping should be enough for at least maxing out all the characters required for one Galactic Legend. It'll take me probably 2 or 3 months more to hoard up enough for the others. But that's what I've done. I'm gearing up characters all the way to G12 if I can, maybe G13, but I'm not adding any relic levels to them. The moment I have my Resistance Hero Finn and Poe farmed up, and Rose also I think has got about 40 shards left. The moment I have them farmed up and ready, then I'll start gearing everyone up and putting the relics up so that I qualify for the event. Because you must remember that as soon as you qualify, that's when you can start earning tickets, and that's when you can start attempting the event. So the moment you feel you're very close to being qualified, that's when you start relicking up your characters and getting them on. And the timeline to do that would be as soon as the uh, the GAC week locks, your mods are locked, your roster is locked. It's immediately after that that you should start relicking stuff up. So that gives you about a week to get everything in place, earn your tickets, and get your farming for race started. So that's going to be my approach over here. And I would say, obviously it's common sense not to go for both of them at the same time unless you're a Kraken. Go for one at a time, and whichever one you're closest to. My opinion is I went for Ray first just because my resistance characters were closer. But just looking at the information which is coming out from folks over the last few days, Ray does look more powerful initially. And I mean, things might change once the ultimates comes out, but at least now it looks like Ray does a lot to benefit the team around her, whereas Kylo focuses a lot on individual hits and powers. There's a lot of stuff that he does which is detrimental to the team, but by himself he can get extremely powerful. So he's got a lot of individual focus, which reminds me a lot of like what Gas has. Like Gas also sacrifices the team around him, and he ends up being the solo guy remaining, and then he takes out the enemy team completely on his own. That's what Kylo is doing right now. But Rey is a lot like some of the other heroes that you see, like JKR, like Darth Revan, who benefit the team around them quite a lot. With damage immunity and all this other stuff, a lot of other good stuff that she does. So that's one reason that I feel Rey is better, at least at this stage. There's obviously also the light side territory battle benefit, because LSTB is right now needs more progress than DSTB, just because our characters need to be more developed for that. The Kylo team also needs, at least initial data suggests that it needs teams like Hux or Crew, characters like Hux or Crew to really excel, which means it's pulling away from other leaders. Whereas in the Ray team, we're still figuring out what the best combination is. It definitely does involve the new Resistance heroes, Finn and Poe, but it does leave you a secondary team of JTR or Finn to go ahead and have a secondary Resistance team with. So that's another good benefit of having that. Um, so that's where I am. Obviously, my progress is a little slow, but what I have been doing is I've been hoarding aggressively for the last 3 or 4 months. I really haven't relicked up or leveled up any characters apart from I think Stormtrooper Han a couple of months ago for the gas counter. I really haven't done anything else in terms of roster progression. And it's that's more or less a necessity for me because I don't spend crystals. It's been I think more than 3 years since I've spent any money on crystals. I spend on the occasional $10, $20 pack, but I really haven't. I really don't do much of spending. So for me, there's no other option apart from really hoarding. And as you can see over here, I haven't bought the hyperdrive bundle as well. But if you're one of those characters who are a low spender or a dolphin, then you'll have no other option but to hoard in order to be in a place where you can unlock this a month or two down the line. Um, the and from now on, I think the cadence is all the gearing and leveling and relicking that I'll be doing will be for exclusively for Galactic Legend characters because they're clearly overpowered, and especially in a grand arena setting, you will really notice the difference when you're going up against an opponent who has a Galactic Legend and who doesn't. You might be able to beat an opponent with the you might be able to beat the team of a person who has a Galactic Legend, but it'll probably use up some of your best teams and break up some of your best teams as well. And that really compromises the rest of your defense and offense. So it really will give an edge to a person who has Galactic Legend And I think from now on I'll be all the gearing and relicking that I'll be doing will be for Galactic Legends. So once I finish Ray, which I'm hoping should be done in a month or so, I'll be hoarding and gearing and saving all my gear and relics for the next Galactic Legend, which is going to be Kylo. And then after that, we don't know when the next one will come out, 3 months, 6 months, but CG has made it pretty clear that they are going to go in for a regular Galactic Legend kind of a release of heroes. So that's what I'm going to be holding for as well. Um, there's really, and it's a good thing that they've done that there's no really narrow window in which you can unlock these heroes. There's a consistent time frame where you can, anytime that you're ready for the event, you can just go in and attempt it. So I'm really happy about that. No narrow window means there's no panic farming which is needed. You can plan these things out right from the beginning and then just go in and spend the materials whenever you're ready. So I think that's a much better approach. It's better for my sanity. It's better from a planning perspective, but it does mean that you need to be in a constant hoarding mode, especially if you're a low spender. That's basically my opinion on Galactic Legends. Just giving some thoughts out there. I won't have him. I won't have Ray unlocked by the start of the next season. Maybe I'm hoping by the mid of next season, I probably might be able to unlock Ray. If I go aggressive, I probably might be able to unlock by the middle of April. So maybe in the second or third week of the seventh season. That's going to be my goal. I don't have tons of crystals saved, just 11.5k crystals. I did have about 30k saved up, but I spent a bunch buying uh, refreshes for Resistance Hero Finn and Poe. But but yeah, so I'm hoping that by the middle of next week is when I will have my Ray ready, and by then I'll have a chance to read the kit and understand it a little better as well, so that I'll be able to talk a little bit more intelligently about it. But in the meantime, I'm going to do what I can to develop counters against it. I do have one person in my arena who has a 7-star Galactic Legend Ray. So I do face this person on my climb every day. So I'm going to be looking at ways in which we can counter this team. So watch out for some thoughts and videos on that during my first couple of weeks of next season of Grand Arena. All right, so that's it for this season. Thanks for joining in. I had a ton of fun. Join me again in season 7 in a week's time, and stay safe and happy gaming. Talk to you guys later.